Don't take our word for it. Read the New York Times. That's basically how the Biden campaign is directing surrogates to answer questions about allegations of rape by former Senate staffer Tara Reade. Biden talking points published by BuzzFeed include this line. In this case, a thorough review by the New York Times has led to the truth. This incident did not happen. The New York Times says, no, they didn't. In a statement to Fox, the paper explains, BuzzFeed reported on the existence of talking points being circulated by the Biden campaign that inaccurately suggest a New York Times investigation found that Tara Reade's allegation did not happen. Our investigation made no conclusion either way. Biden's accuser had been claiming for years he raped her, a standard higher than when Gillibrand went after Brett Kavanaugh.
Now, Stephen Conroy, this is the point, right? And what makes it particularly frustrating is if, believe all women is just too over the top, right? Because inevitably there will be people who will either go too far or don't have the evidence behind it, or sometimes will just go too far, right? But clearly we all believe that somebody who has an allegation should be able to place that allegation, but then the consequences of that allegation being placed publicly is that there should be an actual discussion around it. Instead, there seems to be this idea that it'll only get a run on Fox News, CNN will never talk about it, the free-to-airs will never talk about it, all because it's sort of, the balkanisation of American partisan media. The whole point is that the very people who were saying that a woman who had claims against the man who ended up joining the Supreme Court in America, that she should have a day in front of the world to recount it, are not even engaging at all with a woman who's got way more on the public record than the allegation was against the Supreme Court Justice. That's the only point I make. Biden fully denies it. No question that his denial is absolute. But her allegation is pretty clear too, Stephen.
Yeah, no, I think the Biden campaign are not going to be able to get away with simply their tactics at the moment. I think they're going to have to front him up, and he's going to have to, on the record, on camera, discuss it and make it clear his view of it. I'm not sure that they have a remote chance to get through the next 5 months or 6 months with their current strategy. It's going to have to be addressed. He's going to have to do it. And he's going to have to open himself up to some degree of questioning.
Well, also, the truth here, Nicholas, is that if you are confident in your denial, right, regardless of what is being alleged about you, right, be it this particular one or anything in the past, if you are confident in your denial, then you can stand up for yourself, right? If you're not confident in your denial, then you want to avoid talking about it. Now, if the theory is if we talk about it, then we give it legitimacy and then it becomes a news story for multiple days, which could derail our momentum in a campaign, we're in the middle of a global pandemic. We live in the era of Trump. That means there's a new news cycle. There's 4 news cycles a day. So what you lose in the news cycle argument, it gets washed away with, Andrew Cuomo briefings the next day, if there's a nothing to see here.
Yeah, I mean, the way political communications strategy works is if you're talking about a topic that hurts you, then it doesn't matter if you're denying it or putting forward good arguments, you're losing, basically. And every day that your opponent is talking about topics that works for them, even if they're having not such a good day on that topic, they're still winning because the media, the public are looking at the topic, which is seen to be a strength for them. So Biden is sort of caught in a bit of a bind here. At the moment, their tactic is to try and just shut it down because, again, they do not want to spend any days with this topic in circulation. But as momentum builds for answers, there is, as Stephen rightly identified, there'll come a point where they have to say, OK, we now need to take this issue on and they need to, stamp on it. Are there new allegations that have come forward in recent times? Is this woman now stepping forward and saying, I want my case to be heard? Or are these claims from 1993 that claims that have been reheated by Biden's political opponents? I genuinely don't know the answer to that.
Well, I'm not entirely sure that Yahoo News, that sits around and gives a 1-hour interview with this woman in 2020, is a reheat. I mean, that's where I think this comes back again, is that somebody hasn't dragged her into the light. Her world, her presentation of the story is that she's been blocked many times along the years from saying things. That said, again, right, right-wing people can't assume this bloke's doddery and here's the thing that knocks him out of the race, okay? But lefties can't assume, the sexual assault stuff, it's only believe all women when we're going after Brett Kavanaugh or Donald Trump. That's the point that I'm trying to make here. Bronwyn, you get the last say on this.
Well, it just confirms my view that Hillary Clinton will be named as the running mate for Mr Biden, and that Biden, and the theory is that Biden gets elected in the Democrats' dream. He then has a heart attack, stroke, falls unwell, and Hillary becomes president. I'm sure that's the strategy. But whether he can survive through to that through the next few months, I take the points that the other two have made. It is so typical of socialists. One rule for them and one rule for somebody else. They will protect him. The news outlets will protect him. The Democratic Party will protect him. The Republicans will have a go, but once again, it'll be a different rule than it was for Kavanaugh. But I still stick by what I think the Democrats' big plan is, to get Hillary to be president.
Well, if Hillary can knock him off before then, it's $51 or it's $15 for her to be the running mate.
Well, not only that. I mean, sexual assault isn't something that will worry the Clinton family.
Well, certainly believe all women is rather selective when it comes to Hillary Clinton. Anyway, I look forward to your complaint letters. Please forward them on to Radio National. Auntie Fran will care more than I will.